What's going on, everybody? It's your girl D here with 8th House Energy, and I'm here to bring you your. This is going to be the June astrological analysis for the month of June 2022. I hope all is well with everybody. You know, there's a lot going on in the collective, a lot of fiery energies going on. And I just pray that everybody is safe and sending love and condolences and internet hugs to those who are negatively affected by any of the negative energy that's going on throughout the collective, you know, globally. All right. I hope that things get better for you. I pray that, you get what you need. All right. So with that being said, you know, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's you guys want to focus on doing things to raise your vibration, especially during these rough times. This time of the year is always rough because the planets start going into retrograde and things start happening, especially if you pay attention to the planetary alignments and you pay attention to what's going on. Taurus season is usually Taurus season that usually kicks off a lot of the planets start to slowly go into retrograde. But let's just talk about what's going on with June. But let's start with May 30th, because May 30th, well, right now we're in Gemini season, of course, right? So May 30th, why does it look like it's a stain there? There really isn't. It just looks like there is. Okay. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, so May 30th is when the new moon goes into Gemini. Now, you know, we went into Gemini season on, I believe it was the 20th or the 21st of May. So we kicked up Gemini season. So happy birthday to all the Geminis out there. I hope you guys are able to enjoy your birthday. You know, hopefully you're a little bit wiser this solar return, right? And you have a little bit more fun and you learn from your lessons and things like that. And hopefully you get to celebrate with the people you love, right? So we got the new moon on May 30th, okay? May, there's 31 days. So we're going to start right with this new moon energy on May 30th because we're kicking off the month of June with that energy. Now, with new moons, you know, they're always, good for putting out and setting intentions so that you can manifest whatever it is that you want, whether you like to write them down. But since it's in Gemini, it's good to write it down, right? So write your intentions. Actually, you can even speak them into existence as well, because Gemini is all about communication, whether it's written communication or verbal communication, even mental telepathy. So, you know, try what works for you. You know, if you're someone who's spiritually inclined enough to participate in setting intentions and writing intentions, try out each way and see what works for you, right? So Gemini is the energy of, well, Gemini is the characteristics, but it's ruled by Mercury. But we'll get into what's going on with Mercury. But the Gemini energy is an energy of, you know, being adaptable, being articulate, very clever. All right. So if you know some Geminis, you know they're very clever. You know they like to chat. You know what I'm saying? They're very curious, and I feel like they're very curious and very flexible in their thought process for the most part. For the ones that I've met, they're very intellectual, really lively people. They like to have fun. They like to laugh. They love to socialize and connect and politic with different people from different walks of life. You know, so we all have this energy in our chart somewhere. Okay, we all have it. So wherever Gemini is in your chart, you may be experiencing these types of energies, or you can put out affirmations and manifestations, or affirmations and intentions, so that you can manifest whatever it is you want in that area of life. Okay. So with that being said, we'll move on to the ruler of Gemini, which is Mercury. Now, Mercury went into retrograde in Gemini, but it retrograded back into Taurus. And so it's going to be in retrograde in Taurus until June 3rd. And then it's going to go direct in Taurus. So when we look at Mercury retrograde, we're looking at energies of your thought process. You know, Mercury is a time, when it goes into retrograde, it's a time to reflect. It's a time to reflect on your thought process, the way you process something, because Mercury also deals with the way you understand things, how you communicate, and when people communicate to you, the way you process it. That's a very important part of Mercury energy as well. And so when Mercury's in retrograde, a lot of the times we're looking back at, like I was saying earlier, in the month when it went into retrograde in Gemini. I was saying that basically the energy is, a lot of us looking back at, okay, why did I look at things that way? What was I thinking when I did that? I must have been out of my mind, or, I wish I would have did that instead of that. I was thinking I should have did it, or I misunderstood what was going on and now I see. So, in retrospect, you could have some of those thoughts, especially looking back at situations and scenarios where you may have some regret in the decision making process that you participated in, right? So that could be going down. Now, that is what was going on in Mercury. Now, in Gemini. Now, Gemini is an energy of, when you look at it from another level, it's an energy of, lifestyle choices, what you like to do when you socialize, right? Because it's a very social sign. So, some people like this type of socializing and lifestyle, while other people like this type. So some of you may be looking back at the different lifestyles that you've lived and experienced. And maybe you are like, okay, damn, why did I switch up? Or damn, I wish I would have never went that route. You know what I mean? So there could be energy of regret. And it could also just be an energy of, okay, I've outgrown that. Now I'm going to do something different. So those types of thoughts might be going on in whatever area of life you have Gemini in, aka whatever part in your chart, whatever area in your chart you have Gemini in. And again, we all have Gemini in our chart. So while it's in Gemini season, we should be checking out Gemini videos, okay? For those of you who like to watch tarot videos. Look at what area Gemini is in your chart, right? And watch Gemini videos as well. And whenever we switch seasons, like when we go to on June 21st, when we go to Cancer season, look at what area of life Cancer rules in your life and in your chart. And in that particular area of life, you can watch Cancer videos to try to figure out, what's going on there. But we'll get to that when Cancer season comes. So this is how, on an elevated level, you want to start looking at your chart. Okay, because like I said, we all have every sign in our chart. Just because you look at a basic chart and you don't see a planet in that sign, it does not mean that that sign is not active, and it does not mean that it is not a part of who you are, because it is. So there is no, hey, maybe this person has such and such in their chart. No, they have it in their chart. Everybody has every sign in their chart, okay? So I need you to understand that. You may hear some readers say, oh, maybe they have such and such in their chart. They do. So just disregard that and just take it as in, now you're elevated. So now you know, right? So with that being said, Mercury retrograde is now in Taurus. So what's the Taurus energy like? As far as characteristics of Taurus, you're going to be like with Mercury retrograde, I told you, you're looking back at, why did I do what I did? How come I did that? Why was I thinking that? Or I used to be that way, now I don't anymore. Or I used to think that way, now I don't anymore. Yeah, I used to hang out the bars, now I don't anymore. Or yeah, I did like to date men, but now I like to date women. Like lifestyle choices, lifestyle changes, the way that you thought about something, your perception on things. That's what the Gemini energy is about. So in retrograde, you're going to be looking at those types of things. Now, you're going to be looking at that right now for the last 2 weeks or so. We've been looking at that in the house of Taurus. Now, the way that Mercury retrograde in Taurus is going to look, or how it has been looking for you, whatever area of life that is in, you become more cautious as a result of looking back at, okay, damn, I was doing that. I don't know what was going on. I need to be more cautious. I need to be more, determined. I need to be more efficient. I need to be more, more loving, or I need to splurge on myself, or maybe I splurge too much, because, Taurus deals with your physical, your possessions, the things you buy, the things you manifest in the material world, in the 3D realm. So, maybe you're looking back at like, damn, why did I buy that? Or damn, it's time for me to splurge and spend some money on myself. You may be looking at, patience. Maybe you didn't have as much patience as you wanted, or maybe you will acquire more patience now, because Taurus is a very patient sign, a very peaceful sign. So for some of you, you may be wanting to see more peace in that particular area of your life, or just, collectively in general. You may become a little bit more possessive, or you may realize that you've been too possessive, because Taurus is a energy in its negative sense. It's possessive. It could be positive too. It's just like, I'm looking out for me and mine. That's a possessive energy, and opposed to the negative aspect of it, like, you mine, woman, you ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? I'm tying you up. You know what I'm saying. But that type of energy. So, we also have to be careful with the negative aspects of Taurus and Mercury retrograde. Some of you may be realizing, yo, I was real lazy. I need to get on my grind with making my money or doing what I need to do. Some of you may be looking back like, yo, okay, I was a little bit jealous or envious, because sometimes that happens with the negative aspect of Taurus, especially being possessive, you know. So, any situation there where you're like, damn, I was a little bit jealous. That's why I'm possessive, because I'm jealous. I don't want my partner looking at nobody. I don't want nobody looking at my partner, what have you. All right, or just being jealous of other people and their possessions, because again, Taurus rules possessions. And for those of you who may not have the things that you want, and you're looking around and you're seeing other people get the things that you want, sometimes that can strike up an energy of envy and jealousy. All right, or you may have people who feel that way towards you. You could be doing well, and people are being envious and jealous because you're able to do certain things that they can't. Also, we dealing with the self-indulgent energy with Taurus. Taurus, in the negative aspect, can be very self-indulgent. Like I said, it's an energy of possessions. What I can accumulate, what I can collect, what I own, what I possess. And so on a negative tip, it can just be very self-indulgent, like eating a lot, overeating, overspending, just indulging yourself with the finer things in life, or the things that you really enjoy, the things that bring you, your physical body peace, so to speak, right? And then also Taurus on a negative aspect can be known as a stubborn energy. So some of you may be realizing you were being a bit too stubborn, or you weren't stubborn enough, you didn't put your foot down enough. So those are some of the things you might be thinking about with Mercury retrograde in Taurus. Now it's going to go direct on the 3rd. So you'll be thinking about these things that you need to change, and then when it goes direct, as we're getting in closer to those energies, you'll start implementing those changes if you're moved to do so. All right. Now, the next thing we want to talk about, the next change that's going to be going on in the month of June, is on June 4th. Saturn goes retrograde. It goes retrograde in Aquarius. All right. Now, last year it was in retrograde in Aquarius. I did readings for all the signs. So I want you guys to check that out from last year. And then I'm going to do another set for all signs this Saturn return, so that you can compare the difference, because wherever you have Aquarius in your chart, that's where Saturn is. Again, like I said, everybody has Saturn in their chart. I mean, everybody has Aquarius in their chart, both. So you just want to look at where Aquarius is and what part of your life Aquarius rules, all right? Because the 12 houses represent a part of your life, each area of your life. And so Aquarius energies are manifested, like the way you act and the way you carry yourself is like an Aquarius in that particular area of your chart. So this is why I really stress to you all, it's time to take it up a notch. For those of you who are just getting into astrology and you're learning how things are, what you need to understand is you are every sign. So sometimes you guys hear me say that, check your other placements, because you're not just Virgo. Check your other placements, you're not just Gemini. You are every sign, depending on whatever is going on, like whatever area of your life. When it comes to family, for example, your 4th house, wherever your 4th house is, whatever sign is there, that's the sign that you take on as far as those characteristics in that area of your life. So if you have Gemini in your 4th house, you are very social with your family. You like to have family gatherings. You're big on that. You guys like to party and have fun, and you and your family are tight. Y'all like to talk and chat and get together and have fun, and whatever you do, like, you have a real good time with your family. A lot of times when you have Gemini in the 4th house, that's just some general example, all right? And opposed to maybe you have Gemini in your 10th house. So your 10th house has to do with your career achievements, your professional endeavors. So you morph into Gemini-like energy when you're at the office. So you're very social. You are very flexible in your ideas. You're very intellectual. You can come up with great ideas. Depending on what type of job you do, that's a great asset to have, especially like sales and marketing and things like that when you're dealing with people and psychology, right? So wherever you have Aquarius, we got Saturn in retrograde there. All right, now Saturn is a planet of restriction. Saturn is also a planet of karma, past life karma. Okay, so when Saturn is in a particular house, what it does is it restricts what goes on in that house. All right, just like Jupiter's the opposite. Jupiter expands whatever's going on, right? So Aquarius is an energy of, well, Saturn's also about rules, regulation, discipline. Saturn is the one that comes in and says, all right, now let's straighten up and get straight, and let's stop playing around. That's why a lot of people don't like Saturn, because Saturn, wherever Saturn is in your chart, that's the area of life that you are going to need to work on. You're going to have to put some effort in. Now, if you do what you need to do with Saturn, Saturn will definitely bless you, but Saturn will kick your ass too. Also, keep in mind, Saturn rules time. All right. So when I say Saturn will kick your ass, if you don't pay attention and acknowledge, the power of Saturn, your time on this planet in the 3D realm will be up, because Saturn rules the 3D realm, time and things that are physical in the 3D realm as well. Your physical body, your aging process, time, Saturn rules that. Okay. Your bones, your joints, that type of thing. Saturn rules that. Okay. So Aquarius energy. Aquarius energy, wherever you have Aquarius in your chart, you would be more friendly, more humanitarian like, you would be more inventive. Like Aquarius energy, I really like it. I like all of them for all their unique ways, but I like Aquarius because Aquarius is very intellectual, but at the same time rebellious. So it's like that, that it's like, you in a class, right? And the teacher, you ever been in a class and the teacher don't know nothing? The teacher don't know much. It's like, how you going to teach us when you don't even know? That's Aquarius energy. It's like, no, this is the answer and this is what it is. And then, they rebel against what the teacher is saying because they got the right answer. And then, the teacher's sitting there looking. You ever been in one of them classes? Anyway, if you have, you know what I'm talking about. But Aquarius is dope because Aquarius can be very intellectual, very intelligent because it's an air sign. But it also can be very rebellious. And then it could also be very unique and individualistic. Like, I like Aquarius energy. So, it's also very unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen with an Aquarius. You don't know what is coming up next. You don't know what they're going to say out their mouth. You don't know how they're going to say it. You don't know what's up, and so they're very persevering, and they're very perceptive as well, and they're a visionary. Like Aquarius energy is forward thinking. It's the most forward thinking sign of the zodiac. It's like futuristic. It's like we got to keep up with Aquarius because they'll come up with such a brilliant idea. And it rules the sciences. So, chemistry, nanoscience, astrology, astronomy, all the sciences. Aquarius rules those. So, very intelligent, very gifted intellectually, and they could see ahead of time. They could see ahead where everybody else can't. It's like Aquarius knows this is what's going on, and they introduce you to this, and it's just like everybody's looking at it like, what? What are you talking about? Like, for example, Bitcoin. Right? Bitcoin came out, how many years ago? And people were like looking at it like, what? That's not making no sense. What is that? I don't even know what you're talking about, because everybody was stuck on a dollar bill. Now you got more people, and so for those of you who were Aquarius minded, where you thought of, you were ahead of the time, you were ahead of everybody else, you were futuristic. Aquarius is futuristic energy. You may have invested or did some research into it, or just tried to see what it was about. And now everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. So now Aquarius is on some other, it's like, okay, well, I'm 2 steps ahead of you. I'm doing this over here, while everybody's still trying to catch up. That's Aquarius energy. So forward movement is what you want to think of. You also want to think of long-term stability, okay? Long-term success, your dreams coming true, whatever it is that you want, your dreams coming true. So with Saturn in retrograde there, Saturn is making you look at, okay, it's time that you've outgrown this. And if you try to do it again, you're going to have a problem. So, for example, Aquarius is a friendly energy. So, with Saturn in retrograde, maybe some of you had a falling out with some people that you realize are not your friend. Well, these people could come back into your life after they've deceived you in some way, shape, or form, or try to come back around and apologize in front like everything is good. The thing about Saturn being in retrograde is when you screw up, when Saturn's in retrograde, you're going to get punished right then and there. It's not going to happen down the line. You know what I mean? It's going to happen right then and there. So the example I like to give sometimes is, okay, you go to a high school reunion. Back in the day, you used to drink with your, okay, you go to a college reunion. Back in college days, you used to drink with your friends or whatever, get pissy drunk, and you could get up the next day and go to work, or you would be out all night, right, partying, drinking, whatever, and then you would go home and shower and be to work at 7 in the morning. Didn't need no sleep. Well, you go to your college reunion 10 years later and you run into the boys or you run into the girls and y'all start drinking again, and you got to be at a presentation the next morning. You got something, something important you got to do, or you got to be to work. And here you go trying to act like 20 years ago, where you drunk all night, partying all night, and then you could just get up and take a shower and go do your presentation, or just get up and take a shower and go to work. Yeah, Saturn's going to let you know that that's not going to happen. You go ahead and try it and holler at your girl and let me know how you feel. Okay? So Saturn is basically telling you you've outgrown things. You can't do the same things you used to do anymore, right? You graduate. You move on. You can't go back to high school anymore. Yeah, you can go back to your reunion, but you cannot go back and be in that lifestyle anymore. So Saturn, what it does is it tells you it's time to let go. By you going and doing things that you used to do, and the shit don't work the way it used to anymore. That's Saturn's way of letting you know that it's time for you to tap into that Aquarius energy and move forward. So wherever you got Aquarius in your house, in your chart, if you still doing old stuff that's outdated and you need to let it go, or you need to change up, it's time to grow, it's time to move on. Most importantly, it's time to be disciplined. If you're not being disciplined and you need to in that area of life, Saturn's going to bring a lesson around, a karmic lesson around, and see if you're going to pass. And if you don't, you're going to get it right then and there. So be careful where Aquarius is in your chart, okay? Now, Saturn's going to be in retrograde until October 22nd, so all summer long. So I'm telling you, I'll do the readings for you for, what's going on with Saturn and Aquarius, where that is in your house and in your chart, and I'll break it down what you might need to be aware of, okay? So make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, that way you'll know when I post, okay? So I'm going to start working on those after I get done with this video. Well, yeah, I might start working on those. I got to do the gods and the goddesses of the elements first, and then those will come, all right? So the next thing we're going to talk about is the full moon in Sag. All right, so whenever we're in a particular sign, so right now we're in the season of Gemini. So whenever we're in the season of Gemini, we always have a full moon in that season. And the full moon is always going to be the opposite polarity. So what's the opposite polarity of Gemini? Sagittarius, right? If you draw a circle and divide it into 12 slices and you put Gemini up here, the opposite polarity is going to be Sagittarius. So just know that whenever we're in, whatever season we're in, the full moon is going to be in the sign of the opposite polarity. So on June 14th, we're going to have a full moon in the energy of Sagittarius. Now, full moons are really good for relieving and releasing things that no longer serve you. So the Sagittarius energy, wherever you have Sagittarius in your chart, you morph into Sagittarius and you use these characteristics, or these characteristics come out of you. You're more casual, you're more direct, you could be more enthusiastic, because Sagittarius is a sign that looks at the glass half full type of energy, typically, depending on, what you got. Now, if you got Saturn in Sag, maybe you don't feel that way. But there's exceptions to the rule, but generally Sagittarius is more of a glass half full perspective. It's also like far seeing, like they could see ahead of things. They could see ahead of time. They could see things ahead as well, because they're right there with, well, they're not right there with Aquarius, but they're, how can I explain it? They can see you a mile away. If you're trying to come on some slick, Sagittarius is going to see that a mile away. It's like it's hard for you to fool them, because they're the energy that rules wisdom. Wisdom comes from experience. So yeah, okay, I seen that already. I know what that's about. I already see this person a mile away. I already spot them and see what their whole itinerary is before they even open their mouth. Just the way they sauntering over here. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of energy that Sagittarius emits at times. Sagittarius is a very friendly energy, very great, the gregarious and thinks big and that type of energy. But they're also very political. They're down to earth and very realistic, but you got to be careful because they could be a little bit, as far as their communication, they can be a little bit exaggerate. They could exaggerate a bit. Because like I said, their energy is like big. Jupiter is like the biggest planet there is, right? Huge. So, Jupiter is known for its largeness, expansion, growth, just like the opposite polarity of Jupiter is like Saturn, constriction, restricted. Well, Jupiter is the opposite. Depending on where you got Jupiter in your chart, like some people got Jupiter in their second house, these are people who are sometimes thicker or bigger or, whatever word you want to use to describe, if you're not slim. You know what I mean? You're on the bigger side. So, the opposite polarity of that sometimes if you're in a negative Sagittarius energy is, they can exaggerate on the things that they talk about because Sagittarius like to talk. They like to connect with people and exchange experiences and exchange wisdom. And it can also come off as a teacher type of energy. But in a negative sense, it could be like they think they know, so they think they know everything. So make sure you're not that person. If you got that type of energy going on in that area of your life where you have Sagittarius, use the full moon energies to, ask the universe to relieve you of that energy. Also, with the negative Sagittarius energy, you can be very exaggerating, like embellishing on things, making shit more than what it is. Again, because we're dealing with the large energy of Jupiter. And they can also be kind of tactless the way they say things too. It's like they don't say things at the appropriate time, or they say the inappropriate things at the inappropriate time. They can know what they're doing. You know what I mean? So if you're dealing with those types of energies, as in your area of life where you have Sagittarius, when you morph into that Sagittarius energy, that and whatever else is bothering you in that area of your chart, you can ask the full moon energies or use the full moon energies to get that out of your life by doing manifestation, not manifestations, but doing it, setting intentions and affirmations. All right. Now we got the sun going into Cancer on June 21st, baby. All right. It seems like Gemini season is going so fast. All right. But yeah, the sun's going into Cancer on June 21st. That's the summer solstice. All right. So I'm a if I don't do a reading for all the signs, I will definitely put something in the community, in the community tab. So make sure you check that out because I'm always posting stuff in there about the astrological placements and the alignments and things that we experience as we go on through each month. All right. So with the sun going into Cancer, Cancer is an energy of our emotions, our feelings. It deals with the feminine aspect. It is the feminine aspect, right? The masculine aspect is the sun. The feminine aspect is the moon. So with the sun going into Cancer on June 21st, we'll be switching over to wherever Cancer is in your chart. You'll be taking on energies of, you'll be morphing into Cancer in that area of your chart. So you'll be more calm, but you'll also be very sensitive. You'll be focused on home, right? You'll be more imaginative, intuitive, because Cancer is a very intuitive sign. Your moods may change a lot because the moon, the face of the sun or the moon changes every 2.5 days. So, Cancers get a bad rap. People call them moody. They can be in a negative sense, but you also have to understand it's not easy being Cancer because if your moon change every 2.5 days, you know, it's tough to get a gauge on things sometimes. But at the same time, once you master that energy, it's like, okay, let me see what's going on. Okay, I'm feeling this way. You don't have to act on it. And that's another thing as an involved Cancer that you learn is that, okay, yeah, I do feel this way today. I feel this way tomorrow, but I don't always have to act on it because I know my mood changes every 2.5 days, or it can fluctuate. It doesn't necessarily have to change from one extreme to another, but it could just fluctuate a bit. So, shout out to my Cancers. Be good to my Cancers. You know what I'm saying? Because on the same token, they can sense when the energy changes in the room when most people can't. Most people don't even feel it yet. Cancer could feel it immediately. I like to correlate Cancer energy to, how you got the water, the top of the water. Like Pisces is Like Cancer's the top of the water. Pisces is like right underneath the top of the water, and Scorpio's deep down in the water. Well, of all the water signs, I feel like Cancer's the most sensitive, and they can feel change in the energy and the vibration in the air quicker than anybody else. Because if you correlate Cancer to the top of the water, if you take a little pebble or if you take a little drop of water, it's going to ripple all throughout the top of the water. It may not even reach down into the water to the level where Pisces is, and it damn sure ain't going to reach down there to Scorpio, right? But Cancer will sense that energy change. If it's a change in the wind, the water will ruffle, where Pisces may not feel it quite yet unless it's a big, windstorm. And then, Scorpio will feel it if it's like a big, tornado or something like that, where the winds are super heavy, where the waters, the tides are changing. And that's another thing too. The moon is so dope that it pulls. That's the only thing. How can I say this, man? Do you know how dope Cancer is? The moon is like, it pulls oceans of water. Have you ever been out on a boat and been out there and there's no land around you? You got to respect the ocean. Now, if you respect the ocean and then you understand that the moon can pull the tides of the ocean and make it sway back and forth, and if it does that to the ocean, just look at what it does to our bodies. We're like a droplet of water of the ocean compared to the full ocean, and the moon just moving those tides with no problem whatsoever. So, we're all affected by this Cancerian energy. So with the sun going into Cancer, we're going to be able to, your ego, you may be a little bit more sensitive in reference to your ego. Some of the other characteristics you may take on is you may be a bit more quiet because you're observing what's going on. You're a bit more protective as well. Cancer is a very protective sign. It's a nurturing energy, and mothers are protective. Cancer fathers are very protective of their home and their nest. So that type of energy. So you may be feeling that way more so wherever you have Cancer. All right, start in June. You may even start feeling those energies now. You could be that sensitive where you're feeling those energies ahead of June 21st. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about, the major change that we're going to have going on in June, is on June 28th. Neptune, which rules Pisces and is currently in Pisces, goes retrograde. So we got another big player going retrograde this month. All right, we talked about Saturn on June 4th. June 28th, Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces, is going retrograde in Pisces, and it's going retrograde from June 28th through December 3rd. So again, all summer. Okay, actually all summer and fall, right? Because December 3rd, that's damn near winter. Winter is December 21st, right? So right before Capricorn season, it's gonna go direct in Sag season, right? So when we're looking at Neptune is a planet of the creative imagination. It's also like, you could look at it as a spiritual visionary. That's what Neptune is, the spiritual visionary. It's also a very psychic energy, psychic abilities. Now, when Neptune goes in retrograde, it's also a planet of illusions. You have to keep that in mind. It's a planet of illusions. Now, when it goes in retrograde, what I like to call, I call it infamously, I say taking off the rose-colored glasses, because when Neptune is direct, people can put on a good front. What's going on with people, but when Neptune goes retrograde, you're going to be able to sense what's going on, because Pisces and Neptune, they're water energy, right? So what's going to happen is when Neptune goes in retrograde, your psychic abilities are going to automatically be enhanced. Okay, wherever you have Pisces in your chart, that's where Neptune is. Your psychic abilities are going to be enhanced. So you're going to be able to sense, yeah, this person said A, B, and C, but I don't think that's the case. I think they full of shit. Or I think they're lying, or I think they're playing with me. They're playing with my imagination. They're trying to play with me. I don't, and then you may sense that something is not right, and then you may see certain behavior that will tell you, yeah, this person was lying, and they may still think that they got you fooled, but your intuitive energies are going to tell you otherwise. So make sure you pay attention to that energy, especially when we're in Cancer season too. Okay, your intuitive abilities are going to just be like on fleek. Okay, if that word is still being used. But it's going to be on steroids. All right, especially those of you who got a lot of water in your chart. Now the Pisces energy, how does that energy look? So wherever Pisces is in your chart, you morph into Pisces energy. So you would be like more creative, more artistic. You know, Pisces is a very artistic sign, more imaginative, more idealistic, very spiritual. Okay, peaceful. You would be a very serious type of. You'd be more serious, more humble. Um, you may have a lot of ideas about things, the way you want to do things, the way you see things, how your perspective on things. But you got to be careful of the negative Piscean energy because you could be a bit careless. You know, Pisces is known as the escapist energy, where a lot of people, because Pisces and Neptune, they deal with self-pity on a negative aspect. Self-pity. People may be feeling sorry for themselves, because of their situation and what's going on with them. So a lot of people will try to escape that, or the fact that the veil or the illusion that people try to put on has been pulled down. Now people see them for who they are, or they see themselves. They might have been fooling themselves, thinking that something was, or trying to fool themselves, trying to lie to themselves about things. And so, when the veil comes off, and when that curtain comes down, you see everything, and that could be internally within yourself, where you were fooling yourself, and now you see the reality of it, and you got to deal with that, and it may not feel too good. So what a lot of people will do is they will try to escape those emotions. And so, the Piscean energy is also known on a negative aspect for people who try to drown their sorrows in alcohol and drugs, right? Also, Pisces deals with prisons, monasteries, alcohol and drug and rehabilitation centers, places where people go to separate themselves from the general public, to heal, because it's a healing energy as well. Pisces also deals with karma. Okay, so we got Saturn in retrograde all summer, and we got Neptune in retrograde in Pisces all summer. So a lot of people are going to be getting their karma. I hope you're on the good side of it. Everybody's going to be getting their karma. We all get karma, good, bad, or indifferent. We're dealing with what? 3 types of karma. We're dealing with karma from past lives that we have to deal with here. We're also, when we walk and talk in this lifetime, we're creating karma that we're going to have to deal with either in this lifetime or the next. And then also there's a karma, I forget what, there's 3 different types. And I believe Vedic astrology has specific names for them. But the 3rd type of karma is the karma that you create in order for you to quell the karma that you already have from a past life. Like, so you may have done something in the past life and you didn't pay that karma before you came into this life. You're going to get that karma. This is why we see things happen to people that don't deserve it. Like, damn, they didn't do nothing to nobody. How could that happen to them? Or why did this happen to me? I didn't do anything wrong. That's karma from a past life that you had to pay in this life. Now, as you walk and talk and breathe, you create karma as well. And then the 3rd type of karma is the karma that you will do to try to curtail any negative karma that you have coming towards you. So that's doing things like raising your vibration, being more charitable, doing things for others, to try to curtail that negative karma that you had. And a lot of times that will help you, but you got to figure out what you need to do, right? So we're dealing with a lot of karma here, okay, all throughout the summer. So keep that in mind. Now, we still got the regulars. Pluto's in retrograde in Capricorn. Pluto is the soul, okay? So that's very karmic as well. So we're dealing with a lot of karma. Every summer, these planets go in retrograde. So we deal with a lot of karmic energies. We see a lot of people and us ourselves go through different changes and situations and scenarios based on karma. All right. So, Pluto's still in Capricorn in retrograde, and it's going to be there for, I think it's till October, right? What else we got going on? Venus is already in Taurus. All right. Venus is, it went in there on May 28th. Oh, actually, it's going in on May 28th, which is tomorrow. All right. At the time I'm recording this on the 27th. So we're gonna have Venus in Taurus, as well as Mercury going direct, as well as Uranus. So there's a lot going on in your Taurus house. So make sure you're taking a look at what area of life Taurus is in, looking at your values with Venus, what's important to you, what you value. Also looking at your money, because Venus rules Taurus, and Taurus rules the second house, which is about your money. So people's money situation could be getting a lot better, or it could be getting a lot worse. People might be spending a lot more money, or they trying to save it or invest and figure other ways to make money. So that's going to be a heavy theme as well, especially with the Pluto energy. Pluto rules money as well. All right, and we know Venus was in retrograde at the beginning of the year. So Venus is not going in retrograde again until towards the end of the year. I think at the end of December or January. But the other planets are going to be going in retrograde, because in July, what's going in retrograde in July? Chiron's going in retrograde in July. And Jupiter is going to be in Aries. Jupiter's going retrograde in Aries in July. So we'll talk about those in July. So all the planets, all the major planets in Chiron, which is one of the major asteroids, is going to be in retrograde in July. And then in August, Uranus, which is in Taurus, goes into retrograde. So I'm going to have the readings for you guys, so just make sure you subscribe. That way you'll get them. But I don't want to keep you too long. Just wanted to let you know what the changes that we were going to be experiencing for the month of June as we transition from Gemini into Cancer season later in the month. And as these planets go into retrograde, while Mercury comes out, we got Saturn going in and Neptune going in as well. All right. So that's what I got for you for the astrological analysis. I hope that you were able to get something out of this. And I will see you guys in the month of June with some readings. All right. Take care, guys.